So welcome everyone to the Radiant Self Meditation. I don't know that there's a time of year that isn't distracting and tempting to get overly involved, whether it's right now the holidays, but then maybe January is catch-up time and then sports start and the sun's out. So perhaps you could relate to that. And knowing that our brain is programmed to focus on threat, or based on your life experiences, it's even more highly tuned. Or if you're listening to the news, if you tell yourself you're crazy busy. I was just cleaning out books the other day and found one, crazy busy. Maybe people have disappointed you and you have the story of, people just suck. Well, when we do that, then because of confirmation bias, right, we're going to see and reinforce that throughout our day. And then we don't feel very radiant. We feel energy drained. So I appreciate you joining me tonight so that we can start to shift that pattern, because when we're in that crazy busy place, it's just really easy to be from a place of fear, like there's not enough time, I'm not going to do enough, I'm not enough. That lowers your vibration. You feel less capable, become more vigilant. Perhaps some of this is sounding familiar. And so while this meditation isn't a magic wand, it will begin to shift your consciousness to be aligned with your radiant self. And then you're off the puppet strings, right? The puppet strings being all those messages, those shoulds. And instead you're in your own flow. And that begins to change your daily experience. It loosens the grip of whatever old patterning that all of us have. I'm still learning this stuff. I still get reminders. So when you use tools like this to stay aligned with light or beauty or love, then you're receiving vitality from the universe. And then your world starts to feel more sacred on a daily basis, which opens your access to the spirit world and getting even more healing and guidance. So when that healing and guidance is available, life still happens, shit still happens, but we manage it so differently. And what I've noticed in people over time is, and maybe you can look back on your own life, is that then less stuff is happening because you're catching it sooner. You're setting different boundaries. You're not overly accommodating or putting your radar out to make sure everybody else is okay. You're also taking care of yourself. So it's a matter of training yourself. And tonight is one example of how to do that. And sometimes it feels like, the only light that exists is like a pinhole of light and you're stuck in a dark closet. But that's the beauty of this process, is that life doesn't have to be perfect in order to feel amazing, because whatever's going on with you, you can find the light and connect to the light. I used to have to go to the woods for 3 days to feel calm. And then I'd come back and be my city self, looking forward to the next time I could escape. And maybe you can relate to that of it's like, once I get on top of this, or once I get on vacation, we get in this, it seems safe, right? Because it's so familiar, this pattern. And yet I know I yearned for, like, I want to feel this calm, this connection to nature, this, there's something greater, there's something more to life than the rat race. And that's where practices like tonight's meditation comes in, that over time with this practice, then really all you have to do is have the intention and it's right there. And we'll talk more as we're doing the practice about what that might look like. How do you get it to be accessible just like that? Okay, so whether you're a beginner or this is a continued journey of living a more sacred life, we're just going to keep using focused attention to show your mind where to focus, no matter what's going on. And that allows your heart to be able to be more open, and then it's all of you present. Then you're starting to create your life instead of be on puppet strings reacting to life. When I saw movies like The Secret or What the Bleep Do We Know, it resonated so much. I'm like, I want to live like that all the time. And yet it's so easy to do this just from the thinking mind. And so my hope is that with tonight's practice, you'll just feel it more. And maybe you'll have a peanut gallery that in the mind, right? The comments, maybe you're not doing this right, or you should remember this, or, you know, uh, you're supposed to do it all. Do your best to let that be from the peanut gallery, like kind of like it's background radio. And you're like, that's what that one thinks. And what am I actually feeling right now? And just staying present to that. Okay. So the meditation we're doing today, in some ways, is quite simple. When I look at, I've been doing shamanic work, meditation for about 20 years. And, it wavers it from, super simple mindfulness, just follow the breath, to journeying in other worlds and working with spirits and doing healing on myself and others. And yet the foundation of all of those things is the same. And that's in what we're going to do tonight. It's about just being able to access what you can, keep the mind out of it, keep the mind from directing it. Just notice what is, receive energy, power, radiance, healing, guidance, whatever's going to come. And over time, the access, like you get to know the place, you get to know the spirit of water, or you get to know maybe a deer talks to you, or you see signs somewhere and you start to relate and know what that is. So over time, this becomes your way to connect with all that is. And for you, that might be God or goddess or source or guidance. In my opinion, like in studying all these different religions and practices, it all feels the same. It's all the source of light, part of the web of light that is the universe. So as we shift from fear and distraction and get more aligned with this radiance, then you start to feel it like a GPS, like it starts to guide you to your soul's purpose. You start to feel more clear about, like, what is my authentic self? And there's a handful of folks here, and there's a whole lot of folks that are going to listen to the recording. And so just notice that you're not alone in this pursuit. And of course, this is only one of many things going on in the world right now, where people are longing for more. Right? We're not just pursuing stuff. We're not just working for the sake of working. We're really starting to question, like, what's it all for? So you're not alone in that. So together, let's support being in a world where we cultivate that radiance, that something more from within. So I'm going to invite you to just come along for the ride tonight and experiment with curiosity. There may be some parts of this that you relate more to, they just flow for you, and there might be parts that feels sticky or choppy, and that may not be your access point. But the meditation is going to be in 3 different sections, and my intention of that is so starting to show you, like, we're going to do section 1, and it's maybe about 10 minutes. And that could be if you have that much time, or maybe the place that we're going to go is something that you really relate to. Well, then you don't have to listen to the rest of the recording or repeat the rest. I invite you to go on that ride for tonight, but give yourself permission to just do the pieces that work for you. Okay, so the second section is going to be a bit longer, and then it'll be very guided. It's lots of exploration, lots of kind of channel surfing, like kind of sampling. And then the last section is going to be like a honing in, almost like a mini meditation, so that if you were at a red light, right, or you had a moment that you could just go there, right? So my intention is to introduce you to a couple different ways to access all of this, but for tonight we'll go through all three. If you end up falling asleep or are having a blissful moment with one aspect and don't want to move on to the others, then the beauty of this path, like the only way for you to be your authentic self in this world, is to follow your insides. So if you don't do it the way I'm proposing for you, then that's okay. If it means you're listening to your insides and following what you're guided to do, then that's awesome. So feel free to fade off. Maybe you even start to snooze and you just need some restoration quiet time, and that means snoring, then that's why everybody's muted. So you can just be that. Okay. So I would like to begin with the intention to experience your radiant self. And if you've received the recording, then you might fast forward to about 15 minutes in. And this is where we'll just start to set that intention. I want to experience my radiant self. And for some of you, that may be like, what is that even? And that will come through a felt sense over time. So for now, I just want you to notice your physical body in whatever position it's in. And that might be, it just is, right? You're feeling the weightedness, the contact with the chair. But you can also become responsive. Perhaps your feet are cold and you want to cover them, or perhaps you want to scoot a bit and get more comfortable. And notice if the position you're in is supporting a full breath. And that will start with even just bringing air into your nose, down your throat, expanding your chest, your belly, maybe even feeling your rib cage around the back expand. And notice the quality of your air. Maybe you smudged beforehand or used an essential oil, and so you're smelling that. So notice your mind may have preference. You may respond to that preference. Notice any sounds in your background. And I invite you to just let them be part of your experience. I know for a long time when I was trying to meditate, it would be, well, if I could get to the woods and nobody else was at the campground and it's by a creek and and I've done a good hike and I've rested well, whatever, right? So part of the intention is, can you just be with, maybe there is some people making noise or neighbors or car drives by, and just letting that be part of your experience. It just is. So noticing your here and now body and allowing permission for 5 or 10% of you to stay present to your environment. And that may be that it gets you a drink if you need, or re-silences your phone because you thought it was off and it's not, or just watches over your physical body wherever you are. And for the rest of you, I'm going to invite you to drift out to the woods. And that may be different for everybody. For some of you, you just felt yourself leave your body and you're like, woohoo, I'm out there. Right? For others, it may be activating your memory of being out in the woods. And for some of you, you may feel so detached from the woods that you're just going to use your imagination. And over time, our goal is to make this more and more simple, where you just get to access the place. But for now, having part of you stay watching over your body is because there might be vigilant parts. They're not quite ready to just vacate or trust. And so we respect that. Just like you may not 100% feel safe in the woods. And so if you need a bodyguard or a dog or a chain link fence around where you are, do whatever you need to in this space for you to be able to be there right now. And perhaps now your breath is a little more open than at the very beginning. Use that breath to smell where you are. Like, notice if the air has changed at all. Maybe it smells earthy or damp or of plants. Notice the sounds here, perhaps something rustling in leaves, birds, the trickle or rush of water. And play with, as we do any of this, that on the one hand, you could just passively be noticing what's there. But particularly at the beginning of this journey, whether it's just today or it's over the next few weeks, if you choose to continue practicing this, that sometimes we just need more sense of control. And so maybe you spend extra time getting the water flow just right and the temperature just right and the right kind of birds and flowers. And if that's what you need to do to be in this place, you get to control it. Ideally, over time, you feel safer and safer there. And that thinking mind, the one who has to take care of everything like that, also gets to just rest and be part of here. So if you didn't need to make any of those adjustments, then celebrate that you've done the work or you've figured out how to be safe in the world and that this place is available to you just as it is. So continuing to take in this space, perhaps the taste or smell of the air, the sounds, your body, if you've been roaming or just standing. Notice the light shades, perhaps glistening of sunshine or different shades of colors. And as you look around, you're going to notice that there is a path. Maybe it looks just like a little animal trail, like it's just been some worn ground when you first look at it. But as your eyes continue to trace it and look up, you're going to notice sunlight in the background, like towards where you're looking up. And so you can see this sunlight through the trees, and it illuminates this path. But you can see the path continues to be open towards the sunlight. Follow it. You can meander, you can fly, you can zoom down it. Just allow yourself to follow this path. And you can be very deliberate along the way, continuing to notice flowers or hear the crunch under your feet or critters along the way. It's going to lead to a lush meadow. So find yourself at the end of the path where it opens to the lush meadow. And step out into it. And notice how this place feels or smells or sounds any different than when you were back in the woods. As you're taking it in, you notice that towards the middle of this meadow is a grand tree. And as you look up and down, you just feel this awe. You feel how long this tree has been around, maybe even like what it's been through, the weather, the storms, the all the houses it's provided, the nests, right? The ways it's been pecked at to get bugs, the weight of the snow on it. But in your own way, acknowledge this tree and go to it. As you get closer, see if you can feel it radiate its energy, its presence, the vitality of this living tree. Notice how its branches reach up towards the sunlight, but that also its roots travel down into the earth so that it receives nourishment, not just from above, but also below. Kind of helps us understand grounding, right? Feeling steady, connected to the earth. So now I want you to merge with the tree. I want you to step inside the tree. You've left your physical body long ago. You can just blend right through and into the tree. And give yourself a moment to take it in there. Maybe the temperature changed. Maybe the amount of moisture in the air or the smell has changed. As you merge with the tree, do what the tree does. Like reach up and feel liquid sunshine coming in through the branches, into your hands, into the top of your head. Warm nourishment. This energy is power, it's vitality. Hang out up here in the branches. Notice what it feels like to the top part of your body as this warm liquid sunshine makes its way through your body, down your arms, down your head, into your core. If you aren't sure anything's happening, then perhaps allow yourself just for a quick moment to remember what it feels like to be at a mall or in traffic. And then let yourself come right back here, back into the tree. And that's an example of how there will be blips in your day that maybe feel like a record needle scratch, scratch across a record, right? And that you get to return right back into. You use that focused attention to put yourself, wait a minute, warm sunshine in my hands, through my head. What was that liquid sunshine feeling like? Even when there's distractions. So as you return into the tree, remember your intention to experience your radiant self and share that with the tree. You could do that telepathically. And you might notice the tree responds in any way, or it may just allow you to continue inhabiting it. But feel that liquid sunshine continue in through your hands, into the top of your head. And you're going to take that with you as you allow yourself to travel now down into the roots, as if you're swimming or gliding, and allow yourself to flow down into the roots. And just be fascinated. Notice the temperature changes, or maybe it tastes different. Maybe the nourishment is there that's more earthy feel, kind of like eating roots, like radish or potatoes, or instead of the liquid sunshine. and let it nourish each of your cells. Your cells will know which it wants. It'll move toward the sunlight, or it'll move toward the nourishment coming from the roots. Your body knows what it wants. So feel your cells gravitate toward what they would like to be served, as if this is an elixir for each of your cells. Would you like some hydration? How about some minerals? So as you receive these gifts from the tree, allow yourself to be in a place of gratitude. And make your own gesture to the tree for sharing its vitality with you, whether that's a hand on your heart or a bow. Give thanks in your own way, and then slide out of the tree back into the meadow. Pause here and notice what it feels like to be you. It doesn't have to be grand. It might be very subtle. Just as you stroll back down that path you came from the woods, just feel yourself, feel your walk, feel your movement, the lubrication of your joints, the quiet or busyness of your brain, the quality of your cells. Nothing you have to do with it, just notice. And as you reach the end of the path, you're going to come back into the body that's been in the space you're in, listening to my voice. So you're going to let the body drift back. Maybe it feels like Casper the Ghost. Maybe it enters through your heart or the top of your head, but feel yourself re-enter your physical body and check on your body. Notice what it feels like to be your spirit or your soul coming back into this body after merging with the tree. No right or wrong, just noticing. If you feel like you want to write a couple words, then this would be the time, but do your best to keep one foot still kind of resonating with the tree and what that felt like. There's no requirement to write. It's just if you feel the urge, put just enough attention to write. And if it starts to have shoulds or expectations, obligation, oh, look, it's you, Peanut Gallery. Or, oh, it's you, Nervous Nelly, the one who wants to make sure I do everything right. You can join here, but I'm not going to write a bunch of instructions. We're just going to continue to have beginner's mind and just see where this goes. And then right back into the spirit of discovery. So scan your body again and notice if you get any feedback from it. If there's any place that wants to be shifted or squeezed, released, or shaken out. That whatever you do right now might be different than what you do tomorrow or the next day. Just letting it be for right now. And now I would like you to bring to mind something that's a vulnerability, because we don't just gather vitality from this world, we also can get healing. And so we're just dabbling in this tonight, but I want you to bring to mind something that's a vulnerability, perhaps that never ending inner critic, the one who wants you to improve, even when you've done amazing. It says, that was great, but you could always do this. Or the one where nothing is ever good enough, so you stay busy. Or the one who guilt trips you when you don't say yes to everything and you want to set boundaries. So just hold in mind a vulnerability. If none come, you can do this practice without. If a big list comes, then just randomly choose or notice the one that glows. And give yourself permission for now to give and receive blessings in this next set, because when we give and receive blessings, we amplify the energy. When we come at it with a spirit of gratitude and that we want to learn, the helping spirits are compassionate beings. In the 20 years that I've done this, I've never had somebody be scolded by the spirits. Right? I myself have felt like, oh my gosh, is it okay that I asked for help because I've been disconnected for a few months and I haven't really been grateful? Are you sure, you guys, you're willing? And they're always right there. I remember being in a room full of about 35 people, and we all journeyed to a place, and it's amazing how consistent the messages of compassion are. That we're never too much for them. We're never not meeting their expectations. They have mercy on us, including, I was just sharing this with a friend the other day, including saying to us, we don't mind how many times we have to show you. We don't mind how many times you have to learn this lesson. We'll keep providing opportunities. So it doesn't matter if you chose the exact right vulnerability or if this process fixes it or not. The universe will continue to support you to evolve. That concept is shortened with whisper or whack, meaning if we stay open and we're gentle on ourselves and we have this compassion for ourselves and we keep letting ourselves evolve, it normally feels more like a whisper. If we continue our old patterns, then oftentimes those learnings feel like a whack, but the universe is devoted to our evolution. Okay. So while holding this vulnerability in your mind and in your heart, with an openness to transform this vulnerability and experience your radiant self, notice the mind fading. Maybe any of the things I said prompted some thoughts, and just notice that becoming cloudy or the volume going down on that radio. You're moving further away from that background radio. Maybe this is how I should act or what I should do. Just letting that fade and being clear that you're asking for support from the universe. And the way that you are supported sometimes is literal and concrete, but more often it's indirect, perhaps through synchronicities or something you hear on the radio or somebody you haven't heard from for a while, or a learning opportunity gets presented to itself. I apparently need to keep working on patience, because if I get behind a school bus when I'm late, or, a slow poke, at first I feel frustrated and I go, oh, apparently I needed to work on patience. Right? So having that attitude of being open, and that it may not come with a magic wand, here, Deanne, all of a sudden you're patient. It may come with another opportunity to practice a new habit. Well, I'm going to take some deep breaths or do some squeeze release while I'm driving 10 miles below the speed limit right now. So holding this vulnerability, I'd like you to now remember being in the presence of the sun, some call Father Sun. Just remembering sunshine. Around here in the Pacific Northwest, we get some practice in that, right? Remembering sunshine, because it's not necessarily always available. My Sundance leader used to say, the sun shines equally upon all of us. And he worked with prisoners on a regular basis. And so he said that without judgment, and no matter what mistakes we've made or what we continue, the patterns we continue to be in, maybe continue to justify or defend, that the sun shines equally upon all of us. So bring to mind and body sunshine and feel a stream of light from the sun to your heart. With humility, you can ask the sun to share with you a homeopathic dose of its ability to shine no matter what. And I say homeopathic ability because I always want to be careful what I ask for. I don't know that I want to ask to be able to forgive absolutely everybody for what they do and no matter what, and because I don't know that I could navigate that as a human without boundaries. So I want it in a homeopathic dose. That's just me. Maybe you want to bring it on. Notice the sun is there, like even when it's cloudy, when we can't see it, when we're indoors being busy, like the sun still shines. And so in that way, it can be a teacher, just in how it conducts itself. And just like it offers warmth to you, no matter what. If only we could just treat ourselves that way more consistently. So feel this gift from the sun, and perhaps as this stream of light from the sun into your heart comes, maybe there's different teachings or gifts that you feel from the sun. So offer gratitude to the sun for what you have felt. And if you want to ask even more from the sun, you can. You can link that to your vulnerability. You can invite it to nourish your body so that you feel more vitality and energy. You can invite it to dry out unhealthy cells, kind of like it dries out mold and kills mold, right? You can ask, hey, I've got some unhealthy cells in me. Can you help me dry those out? Or can you just, like a solar panel, can you give me some more radiance? As that stream of light continues to come from the sun into your heart, allow that to spread through your body. And for some of you, you'll want to pour it on thick. You'll just eat it up, right? And others, it might feel more gentle. Just a trickle. Whatever is available to you, just notice. It's offering a blessing and your gratitude to the sun. Now turning to water. Pure, clean, full of minerals, or salt, if that's your preference, the beach, the ocean, or a mountain lake. Perhaps you like the sound of a creek. or structured water, whatever water you turn to. Breathe it in. And feel it with all of your senses. So it may have a taste, a feel, a temperature. Bathe in it. Maybe it's a steam bath and you just feel your pores open and receiving it in that way, or you drink it up. Feel its energy. Feel a light stream of water energy into your heart. Water, too, can be a teacher just in being itself. Water doesn't stop for boulders that are in the way. It just goes around. Even ones thrown in the path by other humans, it doesn't stop and say, now, why did you put that dam there? Or why are you getting in my way? It doesn't try to explain itself. I need to get down there. It doesn't try to change the opinion of the boulder or the one who put it there. So in that way, it's a teacher just by being itself. Water just continues on with its purpose. And as we evolve, it can feel more and more like that as we get more clear that we are nourished, that we're okay just as we are. When we are filled with light and love from these sources and feel our radiant self, then we get far less distracted by explaining and defending or caretaking, distracted. So as you continue to feel this light stream of water into your heart, offer a blessing or gratitude to the water. And bringing to mind your vulnerability, just tucking away that perhaps some and how the water conducts itself may help you become a more evolved human. So along its path, water nourishes plant life. So many varieties, so much interconnectedness, like the fungus helping the tree roots, or fir trees feeding the birch trees in the winter. Notice the plant life. And it may feel like it has a different flavor. So maybe it smells different, or the air around it has a different texture or temperature. Notice the gifts that you receive from plants, from just basic food to their beauty, or things we can turn into salve or tea. So feel a stream of light from the plant life into your heart. And maybe each of these light waves all feel just like bright white or like a laser or like a flashlight, or maybe they have somewhat different color or speed or feel to them. Whatever it is, it's your experience. For now, notice how plant life nourishes you. Notice how different plants feel in your body. And offer a blessing or gratitude to the plant life. So notice these different streams of light coming at you. And just notice in your body, in your brain, in your heart, how it feels to be receiving them. And offer what blessing or gratitude feels right for you. And notice that they're there unconditionally. They're not saying, well, I'll be sunlight or I'll grow as a plant so you can eat me if you finish your tasks, if you didn't piss anybody off today, if you whatever. Notice that these are available to you just the way you are. So take a moment to revisit your intention. And for some people, it's a time to even check out like, well, even though I haven't figured this out, or even though I want help with this, will you still give me light? Am I still good enough to be part of this web of light? So notice your intention to evolve beyond that vulnerability and embody your radiant self. Just allow these streams of light to be present while you have that intention. Remembering now Grandmother Moon. Grandmother sits watching over you like an old woman on the porch. Grandmother Moon has presented herself before to me as this, with long gray hair and a sparkle in her eye. And I picture that in her early days, she was riding on the back of a Harley because she just has this unconditional love, no matter what stupid human tricks we do. The moon continues just to shine over us and be available to us. She has such a strong presence. I mean, she can move the ocean, right? So she's not extremely interactive. It's subtle, and yet it's so powerful. So notice that she's no longer chasing happiness or getting stuff done or, I don't know, putting the right color lipstick on. She's lived her life and she's learned her lessons, but she's also not trying to dictate to us those lessons, right? That you shouldn't do that. You should know better. Nope, she just continues to look on us and pour love. So feel that love, feel that web of light into your heart. Notice that she gets it, that we're all learning. She's been there. And like a really healthy grandma, she loves you no matter what. Feel that light stream from Grandmother Moon, from her heart to yours. And perhaps you have a request from her. Perhaps you ask her if she can teach you how to hold power in your body the way she does without being sharp or rigid or bullying, right? She just is being herself and she moves the ocean and changes people's moods. And so offer your gratitude or blessing to the moon. As your attention fades from Grandmother Moon, sense an animal nearby and be curious. You might not see it, you might just feel it or hear it. Perhaps you even have the ability to merge with it, whether you see it or not. Just attempt to feel it, maybe breathe like it, feel its muscles or its bone structure. Feel the way it has a stance or it moves or glides. And while you're doing that, just notice any subtle changes in your body. If no animal has come, just curiously pick one and then another. Just kind of feel them in your body. Imagine as if you're wearing them like a costume, like you're being that animal. In ceremony, oftentimes animals will come and come into your body and show you. And I've seen everything from like a dancing bear to a stalking jaguar, who then the next moment shows, now playing with cubs. And so just feeling those lessons of like, oh, even though I'm really fierce and powerful, I can also quickly adapt and be present to play. So just notice becoming this animal and being in their environment. This is their service to you. This is how they transfer their power, their energy to help you become more radiant so you can feel their power in your nature. It helps wake up different aspects of yourself. And feel their heart now. Feel that light stream from their heart to yours. And notice this particular flavor, this animal light stream may feel different than the moon or water or tree. No right or wrong, just whatever it is. And then show your gratitude to the animal for giving you this glimpse of what it feels like to be them. Bless them if it feels right for you. And we're now going to turn to Mother Earth, who houses all of us humans. The earth is one being, but holding space for so many, not just ones with heartbeats, right? But the water, the mountain, trees, the gemstones. There's so many different flavors of energy we receive from on the earth. So feeling the earth in your own way. You're one of the creatures that she houses. The earth models transformation without struggle. When there's an avalanche, it just reshapes the surface. It's not like the earth says, oh no, now I have a scar on my face. Right? It just happens. Or when there's fires, then there's going to be more undergrowth and plants for the animals, or the pine cones open up. Those decaying logs, when a tree does fall, the decaying logs feed the soil. So feel the light stream from the earth into your heart. And maybe you admire her ability to adapt or be so much for so many. And you can ask, like, please teach me how to be so fruitful or how to adapt as you do. Take a moment to offer your blessing, your gratitude to Mother Earth for all that she is, all that you receive. And again, bring to mind your intention to transform this vulnerability that you thought of earlier and to experience your radiant self. And just notice your experiences so far, whether or not they make sense. And you're just going to invite, we've gone to some very specific places, but now you're just going to open it up. If there's any other energies or any other experiences that are for my greater good in transforming this vulnerability, I invite that into my life. And while, yes, sometimes people then feel like a rewiring of their nervous system or a swoosh of light or something leaving their body, more often it's very subtle. So it might be unfolding over the next days and weeks as you hold this intention. And be careful what you wish for, because sometimes relationships change. For example, if you're saying, I don't want to be so exhausted and accommodating everybody, then maybe you're going to piss some people off. And then you have the opportunity to take care of yourself, put your own oxygen mask on, and get some care. Maybe have to talk to some others who can remind you that you deserve to take care of yourself and that you set a reasonable boundary and that you're not responsible for other people's feelings. It doesn't always unfold as rainbows and sunshine as we would love. So it's okay to ask for care. It's okay to ask for the lesson to be gentle. And bring your humility, right? Like, please help me. I don't have it figured out. I'm doing the best I can with what I have. I'm open to learning. And I don't know what's for my greater good. Otherwise, I probably would have done it by now. So please help me evolve. So I want you to return your attention back into your body. And over the next few minutes, you're just going to take about 5 long, deep breaths, feeling the physical body. That was our middle section, or our exploration, our bigger exploration. If you feel drawn to jotting down a couple things, do your best to stay present to how you're feeling and the energy you've received. And to stay as if you're vegging out on TV. You're not the director. You don't even have the remote in your hand. You're just seeing what's there and experiencing it. And if you've begun to drift off or fall asleep, that's okay. We're going to do one more short meditation. You take care of you. So I want you to again bring to mind the tree in the meadow and allow yourself to drift there. Go fly there or magically be there. Just go be in the tree. And as you feel yourself in the tree, again, reach your hands up, open the top of your head, receive that liquid sunshine. But feel yourself as a big antenna now, merged with the tree. And now you're going to receive the web of light from all directions, all at the same time. So from the sunshine, from the water, from the animals, from all directions. And not only from the elements and the animals that we've done today, but any other spirit helpers, angels, God, goddess, source, whatever is available to you. Open yourself wide open to receive light from all directions. Just as you are. And right now we're just experimenting. If it feels ecstatic, then do it just the way you are. If it feels overwhelming, you have the volume button, like the volume dial. You can turn it down. If for when you do this exercise as a standalone, maybe you feel like you drag yourself, or you get wheeled into the tree and plop down at the bottom of the tree, and you drag yourself up to get into the tree. You get your fried self into that tree. Whatever it takes, because you can receive light from all directions. So I'm going to channel surf here for a moment, just for the sake of sampling this light. And so for some of you, it'll just like soak in all of your skin like a steam bath. And it won't matter to you what direction it's going, or if it's filling and overflowing, or if it's clearing stuff out. It'll just feel good that way, and that's okay. For some of you, it will feel directional, like maybe it pours in through the top of your head, and you allow it just to gravity right down through your spine and out the base of your spine. Or maybe it comes out the palms of your hands or your fingertips, out the arch of your feet or your toes. Many people really enjoy the spiral. So having the energy come in through the top of your head and be like a sweep or a massage right around your eyeballs, your temples, your forehead, and around your head, as if you're getting a head massage. But your brain inside is also getting massaged, but also getting this vitality, this perfect elixir that makes you more radiant. And it just sweeps in this spiral around your jaw, the back of your neck, and so on, all the way through your core. Sweeping, meaning picking up shit you don't need anymore, picking up debris or other people's stuff, expectations, or energy. And as it comes through your core, it sweeps out the base of your spine. Feels like a good elimination. Back down into the earth like nurse logs, right? Like those decaying logs that then make the soil fruitful for something else. So you're not polluting. And then experiment with feeling this light from all directions straight into your heart. You can adjust the volume or intensity and notice, like maybe it starts to get so full you feel your heart overflowing. And you could resist that and feel like you're going to pop. Or you can let it then, like a ball of light, out in all directions. Kind of clean up between your shoulder blades, places where we either don't close our auric field, or people and expectations are hanging on us. You can blast out that back. Or maybe it's more gentle and you just fill your heart and then you radiate outward in all directions to others. So there's no wrong way to do it. And if that was confusing or felt too much, then just go to the way that you want to receive right now. In our final moments of silence, just want you to go back to receiving the web of light from the helpers we visited, as well as all your other helpers. You may even have some that you haven't met yet. And the way we just ended these last couple minutes is something that you could do every time you're at a red light, whenever you're brushing your teeth, when you're in the shower. Just allow that light to come in from all directions. You don't even have to go to the tree and be the antenna or have that as a reminder or amplifier. You could just do it in a 1-minute version, a 15-second version, whatever's going to be attainable for you to feel more radiance. And imagine a world where you have access to this radiance every day. Because you do. But imagine, like, if we show up to that, if throughout our day we just do it even a few times, it starts to shift our energy. And then we have a little bit more energy. We're not like at the end of our rope, or we're not, we haven't fried our last nerve. We haven't given away our last, you know what, you have no more of those to give. And you're more present to yourself. That's when we get more clear about, like, what are my values? What's my purpose here? Or where's the deeper meaning in all of this? When we're fighting off the distractions and we're exhausted in all the have-tos, then our energy is drained. So all of the exercises tonight can just become like a GPS. You can feel when you're on track because you start to feel moments of what you felt tonight, perhaps more calm, perhaps more clear, or more vitality. You can call upon these helpers and the things they've modeled for you, or even just in general, please help me. And you start to feel when you're getting off track. I don't know if GPSs do this anymore, like rerouting, like we need to turn around, but you'll start to feel your energy in the frenzy or in the drain, and you'll know, like, ooh, I'm moving away from my radiant self. And so you can start small. You can say, like, what plant does my body want to eat today? Or what location do I want to sit in? What meditation do I want to start my day with? Or what movement practice do I want? And those short steps get you on your long-term path, right? The way we climb a mountain, one little step at a time. It's when you start to live with momentary decisions, when you start to increase your radiance at a red light, or if you choose to re-listen to this in its entirety, then it becomes your long-term plan. How do I feel lit up? Oh, there's my radiance. Ooh, I'm starting to feel drained. Maybe you don't have to figure it all out and change whatever that thing is. You get to just move back towards radiance. I imagine a world when we are in our radiance where we joyfully get to use our strengths, our values, because we're connected to those, and we feel the love from Grandmother Moon. We feel the vitality from the sun and the unconditional, non-judgmental love. And so we just show up in the world just the way we're meant to. And so everybody being their authentic self. So notice when you experience this radiance, it starts to move more into your world. And maybe that means you have to listen to this a few more times, or you just do the red light thing or brushing your teeth thing. But maybe it'll show up in, like, when you go to prepare your food, that instead of doing it harried, that it's done with love or more mindful. Maybe you end up with more grace towards some part of your body when you're dressing yourself. You're like, oh, this is tight. And the urge is to be mean. It's like, oh, wait a minute. How would the sun, or how would I feel in that tree when I'm dressing myself? And so you're welcome to share any of your experiences, or even though we're going to turn off the recording and have time for questions now, you're also